Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm on with Devin Nash and ThaNiteLife. They've got a new EP on the way called Pretty Woman, I Love Your Mocha, and I'm super excited to talk to them all about it. Devin, ThaNiteLife, thank you so much for coming on today. How are you doing?
We're doing
Doing
good.
good.
We're
Doing
good.
good, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man, anytime. I'm really excited to talk to you about this EP. Seriously, since the moment you sent it, I've been listening to it front to back. It's awesome, and everyone honestly is they got a nice little surprise on their hands here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
First
Wow.
you.
thing,
Thank
yeah. First thing I want to talk about is the lyrical content. So just by listening, you can kind of get like the gist of what it's all about. But I want to hear from you guys if there's like an all-encompassing message of the record.
Um, I'd say it's like a love letter to somebody to yeah, it's a love letter to a woman, I'd say, probably to a couple of them, but most to that's the gist of it. I mean, it's pretty much a journey of as a per as people, we find a way, like we always like what we probably shouldn't like, as far as people who are not necessarily good for us.
I think that's
And
just
so
human
it
nature.
takes, yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah.
So we that journey it talks about that. It talks about but then also it gets to a point where you strip away your ego,
Hmm.
and you trying to find you commit to actually being like, to loving somebody the way they need to be loved, or whatever, or at least showing them how much you love them. When it comes to, like, just saying, hey, I love you, I want to be with you, let's make this work, type of thing.
Sure.
If you go through the EP, it kind of goes from being like, oh, this is person that I think you're sexy and all that other stuff, but you probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't be with you, but I want to be with you because of the way I was brought up in life. And then it goes to that, to like being with a girl that's like, you probably shouldn't be with. And then, you finally, go back to that whole thing, as far as like, okay, I need to be like, find somebody that actually is good for me. So taking away that ego and not, being, yeah,
No,
not
I
being.
totally get that. That's unbelievably relatable. I think most human beings who have the capacity to love or like people have been in that situation. And it
Right.
Oh yeah.
must feel good to kind of get the words on the page, right? Because if you're dealing with it emotionally and you're dealing with it internally, really the best way is to get it out there and make a piece of art to back it, right?
Right. Right.
Extremely therapeutic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
But also at the same time, you obviously have some people in your mind as you're writing it, and it's just like they're probably going to be listening to it. You know, you're kind of bearing yourself for the world.
Yeah. Yes. But you know what? I've done that before, so it's
Yeah.
okay. That's all good.
That's just the
That's all good.
problem of being an artist is you need to make yourself
Right.
vulnerable and it happens.
Right. And I
Well,
think that the best part comes from that anyway.
of course. Putting aside
Yeah.
the lyrics for just a moment, I have to talk about the production on this record because it is
Mhm.
a 10 out of 10, seriously. I want to know who kind of takes care of what. You know, there isn't a dull moment or a single lull in the entire EP. How do you typically approach the production side of things?
So obviously, you can tell that Devin mostly takes care of the lyric part of it. It's
Mhm.
mostly comes from his head, and then
Mhm.
it's really my job to try and create a soundscape for that. Sometimes it'll start with me making a track, and then Devin coming in and writing to it. Sometimes it'll start with Devin singing a melody on the piano, and then I'll come in and build around that. But yeah, that's really what I do. I try and just put those feelings into moods, because I feel like I'm a very empathetic producer. So I feel like it comes out that way.
Yeah.
Right. No, I get that because there's so much music that the lyrics don't match the vibe of the song. You know what I mean? It's like
Right,
you're
right,
talking
right,
about it like not every song is a love song, but even if it is, and you're just listening and it's like, no, this doesn't line up. So I
right,
think that's kind of like
right.
the best part of having a collaboration like you guys. That's also one thing I wanted to know and why I'm so happy that it's both of you here. This isn't your first collaboration. You've obviously been working together for a while now and on other music. How do
Yeah.
you guys go about, making the decision to be like, hey, like instead of doing isolated singles, let's do an EP? How does that process work?
Mm.
Normally it's when I feel like when we feel like we have something to say,
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
because I do feel like a lot of people, and this just happens, people will put out albums and it doesn't really say much. So I think at that point in time, you should put out an EP. Put out like a song or two. But when and we wrote a lot of songs. It took us a while to even get to where we wanted to get to with this.
There's a bunch of other songs that we had that didn't fit what we're trying to do. We had to really fall into like exactly the path that we wanted to go. And then once we got on that path, we were able to pretty much streamline it. But it definitely was a work in progress at first.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. But yeah, I mean, I talk about this with other people that I get to speak to about music. The songwriting portion of it and the production side of it is two completely different worlds. And once you find that partner, the person that can kind of like fill in those sentences for you, keep them as close as you possibly can. I assume that you guys are friends outside of music making, which is probably what spurred, this musical relationship. Is that right?
Yeah. Everybody thinks we're brothers.
Exactly. Well, we also used to be in a pop group a long time ago. A while ago. Yeah. I don't say a long time ago, but a while ago, we used to be in like a pop group that kind of reminded people of the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
And we would do, I would write, most of the songs, he would do the production. So we just kept, working together. And there was this other EP that's even on SoundCloud called Her, that we did some things. We did a lot of songs together too. But this one was it was just us two. This one was just us two. It was like, okay, we're going to do this as Devin Nash and ThaNiteLife. So
that's awesome. I know that you guys have sort of touched on the process side of things, but I just need to know a little bit more. So you say that you write the songs first and you bring him the songs, and then you sort of form the production side of things. Is that right?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Or does it work the other way where you're like, hey, I've been working on this sweet instrumental, like I need you to like fill in here?
Both. Like I would say so if you listen to the intro, that was one of me doing a track, and then Devin comes in like, oh man, I love that. Let me, I'm gonna write you this, and let me go from there. And then you have the one like Pretty Woman where Devin came to me, he was singing a song with some chords on the piano, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And I go there, and then we start making the track around his song. So it just depends.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so then how do you work on songs? Do you like to work on them one at a time, in batches, or kind of just like skip around and see what feels right?
It just depends.
Yeah, it just depends.
Sometimes songs get scrapped, and then we go back and come back to them later.
Yeah. Well, I think if you've listened to a song 100 times in a row trying to get it right, ultimately on the 100th time you're going to be like, this is the worst song I've ever heard. Like, why have we spent so much time working?
I hate the song.
Yeah, it's terrible. It'll never be good.
Yeah.
You gotta leave it for later and come back to it, and maybe even get a third person to be like, is this good? Like, is this good?
Right. We'll play it for friends and bother them and be like, what do you think?
Right. So a little bit like a little bit different perspective, but outside of making music, do you find that there's anything, like just as a person, any like normal human skill that you've used that's helped better you as a musician or a producer?
As in outside of that?
Yeah, just like, maybe in your day-to-day job, or like things that you learned as a child or growing up, or just like normal human experiences that have added to your music making. Things that you think kind of give you the one up on someone else.
Well, definitely human experiences for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times, like I was saying before, like, all these songs are inspired by people.
Right.
Or at least situations,
Yeah.
So definitely that I think when you're, like you were saying before, when you're vulnerable and you write about what's going on in your life, a lot of times people can relate to that because usually we're all going through the same thing.
Yeah.
So when you're being real enough to do that, a lot of times, that's a one up because people can feel the vulnerability and they can relate.
Right.
So I'd say that. But I can't think of anything else that I've done outside of music.
I mean, I would say like, you know, being humble, like comes like I've been humbled, like, you know, in my life. And I feel like a lot of producers sometimes, like you said, like somebody gives you a song and you're there to make a soundscape to it. If you're trying to show off in your music ability in the track, you know, and it's all about you, it's never going to come together. People are going to be like, well, this doesn't go with this at all. You know, that's funny that you said that earlier. And, you know, you have to just humble yourself and just, you know, try and find out what's good for the song. I know we fight about this a lot of times. We're like,
we did.
Whatever is good for the song, you know, it doesn't matter about
Totally.
whether it sounds good or whether it's not, it's about what's good for the song.
Right.
No, I fully agree. It goes back to that partnership thing. And it's really like, if you have two 50% partners here and one person always wants to be the leader or the center of attention, you're never going to accomplish anything because you're always going to be focusing on, oh, but like, did you hear that effect? Did you hear that? Like the equal partnership of making music and the songwriting and just like the structure and the whole production side of things, it has to be equal or else like as a normal music listener, just as a general person, you can hear when someone's trying to steal the show. Like any duo, hip hop music, pop music, rock music, doesn't matter the genre. If there's singing involved, like you can tell, hey, that person got 75% and the other got 25, and it just doesn't add up. So, but no, really, like that's kind of what I enjoyed the most about your music was that you both are good at two separate things. You, like Devin, you're not going to start producing, and maybe you have skills and knowledge of it, but it's not your cup of tea. You know what I mean? And you're not, you know, and you're not going to start doing the songwriting, and that's why I think having that partnership really does work best. So, you know, don't fight. Stay friends.
but that's what you said, brothers. You know, brothers fight, right?
Exactly.
And you know, just to add on that, like sometimes it does blend in, like you were saying. Sometimes I will say, hey, you know, we should do this with the song. Like I remember, man, Pretty Woman, we worked on that for like 6 months, 8 months, for a while,
longer than that.
Longer than that. And then I remember me coming back and being like, all right, hey Ryan, we need to change the beat up. You know what I'm saying? And which is, you know, usually, obviously, I'm not normally would never do that, but I just could something can touch. Something just hit me. I'm like, we do this, we do that. And then there's time, you know, plenty of times saying, Devin, this, you know, he'll come with, you know, with a hook that'll just be way different than what I would have ever came up with.
Right.
So
now it's all about having those open lines of communication, being able to trust each other. So I get
Yeah, that's really what it is. Yeah.
Another thing that I really liked about the EP was that you didn't really stick to one genre. I found a lot of influence that was going on from there, just from a little bit of everything. So I'd like to hear from both of you. What did you grow up listening to? What did your parents have on in the car? What are you listening to now?
Oh man. I mean, I grew up listening to just about everything. So like my dad was playing like, you know, old school Motown, things like that. You know, everything from Michael Jackson, Sam Cooke, Temptations, things like that, you know. And then I'll just put it this way. My parents put me in predominantly white schools, but I appreciate that because that put me on to stuff like Nirvana and Green Day and Alanis Morissette, like, you know, like things I probably never would have listened to. And my older brother making fun of me was like, what's this? It's not.
No, that's the whitest music ever made. So.
But I loved it. I love it. It's great music. And I think that just let me like really like span all these different genres and have so many things to like draw up on when I'm going to like, you know, produce things, which I love.
No. You're not the first person I've heard that from. And it's just like when you talk to people who make a specific like hip hop or pop, for example, and it's like, yeah, like my dad had jazz on in the car, or I went to a specific school where they only listen to this. You may not appreciate it in the moment, but when you're making music, you can pull from so many different things that you've heard, and it's really only going to make you better as a person and just like a music consumer. So I love that. I love that. What about you, Devin?
Boyz II Men was a big influence for me back, you know, the day. Temptation, Stevie Wonder, and then later on, NSYNC. I will say.
Hey, it's my first concert. First concert as a
Yeah,
child.
we all love the boy bands. We get
Oh
it.
yeah. Who doesn't?
Now I listen to more like Prince is a big influence. Michael McDonald, Frank Ocean,
Yeah.
people like that.
Nice.
Big influence for me.
So now that you guys like I would call you guys seasoned musicians at this point. You've created a song from start to finish and you've released it. A lot of people that like check out our content are people that have just put out their first single or just put out their first album. Are there any
Yeah.
tips and tricks that you'd like to pass off to them as they're just like starting out their journey? Something that you think any just like beginner should know at this point?
Never give up because it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
You're gonna suck. It's going to because it's one of those things. Like if you're afraid to suck, then you're never gonna get better.
Yeah, it's the truth. If you can look back at something that you did a while ago and see the growth in yourself now, then it's all worth it,
Yeah.
because you're gonna grow. You're not gonna just jump in at the best as you're gonna be for the rest of your life. You're crazy.
Right.
No, but some people expect that. It's the people that have had everything handed to them their entire life. They
Yeah,
put 5 minutes into it and they're like, well, why am I not on the Billboard charts?
I don't
I
have
made
no
one
Grammys
song.
for this.
So,
Yeah,
Nah.
that's a little yeah. Yeah. Wait, like, do you run across people like that a lot?
oh yeah, all the time. Maybe not
Oh,
necessarily
man.
people that I interview on camera, but just like in my network of music people, people who are
Uh,
just like they think they're the shit and they're not, and it's just
right,
like
Yeah.
you kind of need to bring them back down to earth without calling them out on it, because
right.
but yeah, but you
I
guys
used to
don't
always,
He's
I,
like thinking about somebody specific. He's like that
yeah.
yeah, damn guy, won't name any
I used
names,
to always
but
look at like those videos you'll see like where some aspiring like singer or rapper goes up to like a Kanye or a Big Sean and like, come on, listen, will you sign me? Like I'm good.
right.
And I used to always think like, man, why don't they sign those guys or something like that? And then I realized after like working so hard to get to where I'm trying to get to,
Yeah.
why would he just give them something? Like it's nothing's like promised to
Oh,
give you, oh yeah, let me just give you a record deal because you sound good. It's a lot of blood,
right.
sweat, and tears to get to where Big Sean is. He's not just gonna give it to you.
no. And listen, I'm actually really happy that you brought that up because I bring this up all the time. It's never been easier to make music. If you own a laptop, you can
Oh
make a
yes.
song. But at the same
Yeah.
time, it's never been more difficult to get discovered because everyone can make music. And so I
Right.
think if
Exactly.
you even look back 15 to 20 years ago when like the Kanyes were starting to like make their music, and yeah, they still had to have talent, but it was slightly easier to make connections.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot
Right.
less people were making shows. They weren't relying on streams to get their name out there and marketing and
Right.
this and that. So it's like just like music in general these days is difficult. But to bring it back to your point, yeah, mainstream rappers or anyone notable isn't going to take your mixtape and make you the next big thing. It's just not going to
Right.
happen.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta
So
put the work in, man. That's the
Right.
only way. You gotta put in the
there you
work.
go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of putting the work in, hypothetically, what does the next year of your guys' life look like in terms of making music, potential tours, just like general releases?
So in November is when we'll release Pretty Woman, the single and the video, all those different things. We're going to
Nice.
promote it, do all those different things. And then on February 14th, we have plans to drop the actual EP. Like I told you,
Awesome.
it's a love fest. So we figured,
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. And then from there, our management is working on us to tour some colleges
Nice.
and
Okay.
just compete out there. So that's the plan for right now.
Yeah.
And then,
Awesome.
and then after that, we have another song that we'll be releasing during the summer that's hopefully the summer anthem. We'll see.
Yeah.
We definitely think it will be. It's a great song.
There you
Yeah.
go. Never
So,
too late for a summer anthem because it's pretty much hot everywhere at this point. Awesome. I mean, it obviously there's a lot to look forward to at this point. I really appreciate your guys' work ethic to the point where you're not just thinking a week ahead. Like making music is a whole process. Putting music
Yeah.
out there, releasing, figuring it all out, like it starts early. So good on you guys for actually doing that. I've only got a couple more questions for you at this point, but so far this has been a great conversation. So
No, no,
All right,
awesome.
thank you.
I want to know nowadays, because we are a music blog and we're always trying to prop up independent music artists, bands, solo musicians, whoever. Is there anyone in your local scene that you guys are enjoying that you'd like to shout out?
Hmm.
That's good.
Let me. So there. Oh,
I wouldn't say local because I mean, when I said I like on Instagram, that's where I find a lot of people that are new that I listen to, you
That's
know?
local enough.
Yeah, local enough.
But we've
But I
never
really
been
like this
more
girl.
connected. The world is local. Anyway. Yeah.
yeah.
I really like this girl, Haley Knox. She's just coming up and she just seems like real, like interesting,
Okay.
and real talented too. Like she produces herself, she writes, and she sings.
So,
Yeah, she's really dope. And I just like, yeah, I would just see somebody that you're just interested in. Like, I want to become a fan. I want to hear more stuff. I want to like,
There you
so
go.
that's good.
yeah. I can't think. I'm be honest with you. I can't think of anybody right now.
That's okay.
I'll be honest. I'm just being honest. I'm trying to think of who I can think about. But I did, like she said, I did. He introduced me to Haley Knox. I was like, oh, she's super dope too. So I mean, just like he said, just the fact that she comes up with her own melodies, because I appreciate her for the melodies she's come up with. I think like there's things that I would have never thought about.
Yeah.
So I think that's really dope. So I mean, I'd have to say her as well.
Awesome. I've never heard of her, but I'll check her out. Thanks for the rec.
Yeah, it's dope, man.
Sweet. All right,
I
guys.
just, just released the song.
I've got one more question for you, and it's how I
Sure.
like to wrap these up with everyone I get to speak to. Basically, the question is, for the person that is going to discover you from this, and for the person that is going to listen to your music for the first time, what is an opening message that you would like to pass off to them?
About our music or
Just
about this us?
like a welcome, like a what are they about to get into?
Uh, um, hmm. I'd say get ready for a romantic thriller, because that's what this is.
Yeah.
It's something that if you have ever been had a situation where you are picking the wrong people, but also are just continuously falling with the wrong person and wonder why. This is the thing that you can relate to, and then also, like I said, you'll be able to enjoy real good music that kind of takes you kind of in the past. It's kind of retro, as as we know, but it's also very modern as well. So a retro modern romantic thriller. This is for you.
Yeah.
I'm
We make
sold.
music for people who like music, I think. I think that's
I'm
really what it
in.
is.
No, you're right. Really though, anyone who enjoys music and they listen to this, they will find something that they love. I
I think so
sincerely
too.
mean that. I sincerely mean that.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
You're
man. Me
welcome.
too.
Guys, thank you so much again for taking the time out of your day to do this. I'm really happy that we could make it work. For everyone else out there, while the EP may not be right around the corner, there's plenty of other music to listen to. So we're going to have everything linked in there so that you can listen and follow along. I highly recommend it. Stay tuned for more because I know that there's a lot on the way. Devin Nash, ThaNiteLife, thank you so much again for your time.
Thank
All right,
you.
thank you. And I appreciate you.
You're very
Austin.
welcome. And there's no way I could end this without saying I love your hat so much, and I probably need to get it.
It's aesthetic, man.
There you go.
Thank
There
you.
you
I
go.
appreciate it.
I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll definitely be speaking soon.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
Peace.
Take care. Bye bye.